Online CEOs. Happy Friday Eve. I am so stoked to be here. I'm so stoked for another mini training. This one is going to be very, very good today. Honestly, I kept jumping back and forth between like three different mini trainings that I wanted to do, but we're going to do this one and then I'll do my other ones in the weeks to come. But today what we're going to be talking about is how to get visible when just starting out in your online business. Now, I know I have been there. It can seem like impossible to be seen. It's like the 21st century, everything's online. You're like, I should be able to get seen, right? But then months and weeks go by and you're like, what's happening? And you just keep hearing crickets. So if that's you, that's normal. Don't worry about it. But there's some key things I want to talk to you about today. And I'll be diving into five things you need to do first when starting out in your online business. Now, there aren't hundreds of things you need to do. There's not a dozen things to do. There's really only 5 things you need to do in order to build a strong foundation for your online business. And that's the beauty of it, because once you build this foundation, that's kind of the grunt work. It can be tiring as you're doing it, but once it's built, your business has a great foundation to build off of. Okay, so we're gonna work on building that foundation today, and then all you need to do is show up each day, each and every day, consistently adding value, and then you will build the business and life of your dreams by just creating the foundation and then doing your 3 to 5 top money making activities that you can only do in your business in order to keep money coming in the door. All right, without further ado, let's dive in to the top thing, the number one thing you need to know in order to start your online business and scale it quickly. And that is to get crystal clear on your zone of genius. I know I talk about this all the time, probably sound like a broken record, but it's just that important, because I know that when I first started online coaching, I was just like bouncing from this to this to this to this, and I was not staying in my zone of genius, which is business and showing up and coaching people, coaching clients. That's my zone. That's my little secret sauce that I have to do every single day in order to keep money coming in the door. Now, what I was doing was instead of coaching clients and trying to find clients and trying to gain visibility in front of my dream audience, I was spending hours on end just creating this beautifully aesthetically pleasing website. Why? I have no idea. But I was doing that, and it wasn't bringing any money in the door. Okay? So what I mean when I say you need to focus on your zone of genius is you need to do that thing that you do better than anyone else. Your zone of genius is that thing that people come to you for. Okay? It's that thing that people bring to you and say, can you help me with this? Like, I've spent hours trying to do this and I'm going crazy. Please just help me. And maybe it's you helped like code their website, or you edited something that they wrote, or you're like a green thumb and you're an expert at gardening or plants or something. And they bring that to you and you help them out with it, and they're like, oh my gosh, you just saved me a ton of time, energy, and sanity. You're a friggin' genius. That's what your zone of genius is. It's basically that thing that you can do better than anyone else. It's that thing that you can talk about for hours on end without any preparation. That's your zone, and that is what you want to stay in when you start your online business. Stay in that zone and you will scale so much more quick than if you are to figure out how to create a beautiful website, figure out how to create this optimizing sales funnel, figure out how to do this and that. I always joked with people saying that I basically had a PhD in Google, because I was Googling how to do all these things that I didn't know how to do. Like, that's not how you want to start your business, because you'll just end up so flustered and frustrated and you'll just throw in the towel quicker than when you started. So that is my top reason of how to of what to do first when starting your online business. Now, the second reason is my favorite, honestly. Reason number 2 of what to do first when starting your online business is to get clear on your signature framework. Now, if you don't already know this about me, I'm a little clarity queen. I believe clarity and consistency are like the secret sauce of business and life, honestly. Like if you are clear and consistent, you will achieve success one way or another. So, clarity in your signature framework. There's a story that I like to tell in order to kind of explain this to people because it's a concept you may not have heard of, a signature framework. So if you're like, what the heck are you talking about, Caroline? Fear not, let me tell you. So I first learned about this concept in one of my favorite business books. It's called Expert Secrets. Got all my little tabs there, that's how good it is. Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. So basically on chapter, I don't know what chapter it is, but page 48 is where he starts telling the story. And it's the story about how him and all these other guys were in this room having a mastermind meeting that month. And everyone in this room were people who were involved in this book launch for this author and really successful businessman. His name is Dean Graziosi. So he was in the middle of launching his book called Millionaire Success Habits. So they were all in this room collaborating and kind of like going over basically who sold the most books or promoted it the best. I don't really know. But basically they were all affiliates of this book and helped promote it and launch it. So with that being said, as they were all in this room, Dean Graziosi, he looks over to this other man who's in the room, Brendan Burchard, and he asks Brendan, he's like, hey, Brendan, can you share your 7-day launch framework? And Brendan's like, oh, yeah, of course, man. I'd love to share it. And so he gets up, he walks to the whiteboard, and then he spends like 2 minutes, the room's completely silent, and he spends 2 minutes like doodling these squares and circles and arrows in every which direction. And at the end of 2 minutes, he steps to the side of the whiteboard and points to it and is like, this is my 7-day launch framework. And he's just like stoked about it. And everyone is like on the edge of their seat, like, what's about to happen? And so as soon as he introduced it, this is my 7-day launch framework, he told the story of how he learned it or earned it. So that's like kind of step 1 of how to get clear on, or how to teach your signature framework, is talk about how you learned it or earned it. Now, I'm sure this dude, Brendan, didn't just like wake up one day and was like, that is my 7-day launch framework. I'm sure he spent months and years crafting this perfect framework, and I'm sure he launched several books and helped clients launch their books. So he had like a tried and true method that he believed in. So that's basically how he earned his framework. He didn't just wake up one day and was like, yep, that's it, without putting in any work. No, he actually went out there, did the work, taught clients, kind of refined it and tested what worked, what didn't. And then that is how he came up with his overall 7-day launch framework. So after he kind of introduced it and told his story about it, he very quickly walked them through an overview of the process. So I imagine if it was a 7-day launch framework, it was probably like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. So there was day 1 through day 7. That was kind of like the process, and that was the strategy. And then he pointed to the first part of his sketch, day 1, and he started teaching the tactics involved in executing that step. Now, I like to view like the day 1 to day 7 as maybe like the table of contents in a book, or like each chapter that the author's hitting on. Like, I know that Russell explains that in this chapter. Let me kind of show you. So, for instance, like this, ooh, this right here, this table of contents, that's kind of your strategy. And then what within each chapter, so like all this stuff, that's the tactics. Those are the tactics of the strategy within the framework. So that doesn't really, hopefully that makes sense. It's like your strategy, then your tactics, and those are in your framework. So the strategy is like your table of contents. The tactics is the content within those table of contents. So now why I told this story, it's not quite done yet because the best part's coming up, but I told it because this next part that I'm about to say, this is why it's like friggin' mission critical to have a signature framework, why it's just vital to your business. It's like your business's heartbeat. So as Brendan was just chatting away about his strategy and tactics, one of the other guys in the room raises his hand and he's like, Brendan, I have a question. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And then the guy asks it, and then after Brendan answers him, he kind of looks back to his board, and then the guy who asked the question, he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off. And then this is where it starts to get good. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off. And Brendan was like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, because I'm teaching from my framework, I can just go back to where I left off and I'm fine. And then he went on to say something that just like hit everyone in the room. Like, it was powerful. He said, your framework is your savior. So your framework, it's like, it's your savior. It's your roadmap. It's your GPS. It's that thing that will tell you how to get back on the road once you've been kind of like detoured, or if someone asks a question, or if you're on a live stream or at an event or something like that. This is the thing that will be your roadmap through what you're teaching your dream audience. This is the thing you go back to. This is the thing not only you follow through your business to remain successful and to achieve your dreams and goals, but this is the thing you teach your clients. So this is what Brendan's business is, basically teaching his 7-day launch framework to clients and helping them launch their books in 7 days. Like, that's so specific and so honed in and so clear as to what the client will achieve, that it's a no-brainer for people to sign up with him. And so everyone in this room, in this mastermind meeting, they were writing notes like 1,000,000 miles a minute. And then once he said your framework is your savior, it kind of just clicked with them. Like, there's really no need to write notes 1,000,000 miles a minute. As long as you have a framework, this thing is what's going to guide you and instruct you. Okay? So this is a topic I will be going deeper into in upcoming mini trainings, because it's something I'm extremely passionate about and I love talking about it. And there's it's very easy to come up with it, so I want to talk about it and kind of do a little mini training on it to help you guys gain more clarity on this. So if you like can't wait for that, just drop some emojis below so I know. I'm like, okay, they want to hear that next week, I'll talk about that. If not, I'm going to be talking about something else because I already have next week planned, but maybe you can persuade me. So that's the second thing you need to do first when starting your online business, is to get crystal clear on what your signature framework is. Because this, along with your zone of genius, is what's going to help you stand out among the thousands of other coaches out there. When you're like honed in on your zone of genius and you friggin' know your signature framework, like a force to be reckoned with, okay? Like, your business, it's going to scale so much quicker, and it's going to be so much more fun because you're not like spread in a billion different directions. Like, I want you to give yourself grace. This is something I have to remind myself of constantly. Like, I was not built to do all the things. I do not want to do all the things. I just want to do my zone, kick ass at that, and be happy with that and celebrate what I accomplished this day. So I highly encourage that. Okay? Get a little sip, and we'll go on to the third thing you need to do first when starting your online business. Okay. So the third thing, I just want to make this simple. I think it can almost come across as a daunting task, but it's not. Don't worry about it. Make it very simple. You can always come back to this, but you just need to have it out there for one core reason. The third thing you need to do when starting your online business is to create a freebie to build your email list. Create a freebie to build your email list. This is what I wanted to talk about next week, is the power of building your email empire and how to do so. So if you want to hear that, let me know in the comments. But I'm very excited about that because it will also really help your business, and it's one of those foundations that needs to be set up in order to keep your business running smoothly and scaling. So the third thing is create a freebie to build your email list. So freebies, they don't need to be this like big daunting task. They don't need to be like, eventually they can get to the point where it's like a 3 or 5 day mini series in your Facebook group, or a webinar that you host, or something like that. But it can be as simple, and this is actually the best converting freebie, is something that's like a checklist or a cheat sheet. Those are the two best converting freebies because people know that they won't be super long, and they kind of will give like instant takeaways and instant action steps for your dream client to take. So when you think of freebies, don't think of this like long friggin' ebook or PDF. I remember like the first couple freebies I made, I'm a writer, so I'm like, oh, people will love to read this whole like 50-page book. No, that's not what you want to do. You want to just create something easy, actionable, make it 1 to 2, 3, maybe 5 pages long, and make sure that it will give your dream client an actionable step that they can take. Make sure it provides value, and make sure that once your client is done consuming it, that they're happy that they downloaded it. They're not like, I need to unsubscribe now. I don't want to hear from this chick. Okay? Make sure it's something that will really hook your dream client, and something that they will be happy that they downloaded and not feel like it was a waste of their time. It was actually really valuable. So it also, freebies, I also want to mention that I want you to ask yourself the question, what feels good to me? Like, does creating a PDF or a cheat sheet or a checklist feel good to me? Or does doing like an audio or a video or a webinar or like, I'm running out of options now. Do those feel better to me? Even like there's like I know I've signed up for like 5-day email challenges, and like the person sends me like something to do every day through email. I'm not a super fan of those because I already hate checking my email, but those are options that you can do. If you're not a super big writer, just hop on video, like create an audio. You don't even need to show your face. Those are super powerful, and since people are always like on the go these days, it's more easy for them to consume. Like, I love listening to podcasts and audios because it's just way more convenient to me, and I just go on my little walkie walk or go in my car to go to the grocery store, and I put on that podcast. So I love those. That's a great idea. But some examples, like, you want to have a kind of a catchy phrase for your freebie. So for instance, mine is, one of my freebies is how to hack your 9 to 5. And I give you 20 steps to take when you start your online business. So kind of have a little catchy name to catch someone's eye, make them want to download it. And other freebie names could be like 5 meditations to feel good fast. And it could be like literally 5 1-minute meditations for your audience or the person downloading it to feel good. Or it could be 10 things you need to ask your accountant this year. Like if you're a financial advisor or an accountant or someone in that industry, that'd be a great freebie to do because no one really knows what to ask their accountant. I literally have a degree in accounting and I'm like, what? It's just like, I didn't learn much in college with that degree. It all just went over my head, not gonna lie. Okay, so that's the third thing you need to do when starting your online business. Now, the fourth thing I want you to do is to show up in Facebook groups. Now, praise Jesus for the 21st century and just the ability to be on social media. I know it can, before I like praise social media, I also want to say like, okay, let me just bring up, I think I brought this up in the last live stream, but my fiance and I watched this Netflix documentary last week called The Social Dilemma. Oh my word, it was terrifying. Like if you want to have a wake up call with your social media, go watch this. I recommend it. Let me pull up my notes from it because I'll give you a little sneak peek to it. But one of the quotes from this documentary is, if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product. Yes. So that is just the terrifying thing that social media can be. So I'm like a super advocate when it comes to only checking social media 2 to 3 times a day and then boom, cut it off. Like I like to tell people that if you are hopping on social media more than 4 times a day, then you're absent-mindedly letting it run your life. But if you're conscious and aware of all this, I want to say that one of the things I want you to do if you're just starting out in your online business or if you're 2 years in and not doing this is to show up in Facebook groups daily. This will help you get visible. It'll help you add value. It will give you, kind of put you into a routine to stay consistent in showing up, and it will build community, okay? Like there's probably millions of Facebook groups all like catered to different niches and different industries and different areas of the world, different hobbies, you name it. So like I'm in Kansas City and I'm in a few Kansas City Facebook groups that are super awesome, and it just helps you build community with people who are around you or people who share the same passions and hobbies as you. People who like I'm an online business coach, so I run into a lot of other online business coaches, which is cool. Like we're all kind of like in this together, and you're like, oh my gosh, if she can show up every day, I can show up every day. So just kind of look at Facebook groups like that as beautiful communities that you can go to, turn to, ask questions to, provide value to, because your number one point of being in business is to provide value to your audience. That's what you want to do. We're all here to serve in some way, shape, or form. And I like to say that if you still have breath, you still have purpose. And you need to use that purpose to serve people and be of value. So show up in Facebook groups every single day. If you can be in at least a handful, this is a big handful, maybe like 5 to 10 Facebook groups, and be showing up in those consistently every weekday, then you will be on track to really gaining great visibility in your online business. So that is the fourth tip of the 5 things you need to do first when starting your online business to gain visibility. Now we're heading into the 5th and final step, which you guys may hate me for, but we'll see. So, the fifth and final tip I have for you is to do live streams. I'm like expecting to hear crickets. Um, yes, do live streams. Whew, I cannot tell you how powerful these are. They immediately just build know, like, and trust factor like this with your dream audience, okay? It takes you from like being this nobody to being like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. Okay, I want to keep listening to her. It shows people your personality. It shows people your talking style and teaching style. It shows people what you're passionate about. It shows people like, is she super bubbly and like too bubbly for me, or is she super chill and like, oh, she kind of puts me to sleep. Hopefully I'm like in between those. I'm like a very chill person, but try to keep it hype in here. So doing live streams will just drastically transform your business rapidly. You'll go from like 0 to 100 real quick. It shows people that you're a real person. Like, anyone in the world can write like a beautiful, captivating post, but few people will actually show up and show their face to talk about that post. And remember when I said that people are like on the go. They want to listen to audio. They want to listen to videos. They want to save this video, listen to it when they're on their way to the grocery store or picking up their kid or going on a walk, you name it, okay? People, I'm like, oh, I like have to put a limit on what I read each day, because you can just overcomplicate and overconsume and just like put your brain into overdrive. So we want to always be showing up on live. I know it's going to be scary. I was scared shitless in my first live. I will admit, I was scared as flip. But I will tell you, after 3 days of doing live streams, of like talking for 15 minutes, I was like, let's do this. Like, let's go. And it becomes so fun because you're like, I mean, being an entrepreneur, it can kind of be lonely. So it's like, I'm like, ooh, I get to like talk to people today. I get to like show my face. And it becomes really exciting, and you get to like show your personality and be very authentic and transparent with your audience. And you get to ask questions or answer questions in real time. So being on video gives you hella credibility. I'm sorry, I just used that word, hella. I don't really like that. Okay. If you want, if you want me to do a live stream that kind of helps you prepare for a live stream, or like what to talk about, or like how to structure it, please either DM me or comment below and let me know, because this would be a topic I would love to talk about, do a little mini training on. So that's the fifth and final tip, is to do live streams. They don't need to be long. They can be 5 minutes. They can be 10 minutes. They can be an hour, hour and a half, whatever you want. So those are my top 5 tips for getting visible when just starting out in your online business. Now, I know I kind of threw a lot at you today, but I want to say that if you are just feeling super overwhelmed on what to do next, or what you should be focusing on, or like if you want a customized game plan and strategy for your online business, I am offering for about 9 more days, one lucky person a chance to work with me one-on-one for 6 months for free. There's like angels singing. Yeah, one-on-one with me for 6 months for free. There's no strings attached, nothing like that. I am just very passionate about helping as many people as possible to start and scale their online business. So this is for you if you're like in the idea stage, or if you're just starting out, or maybe you're years into your business, but you just need support and guidance from a coach. You're tired of doing it all on your own. Believe me, I know how it feels. I did that I only did it for like months, not really years, because even months I was like, hell no, I need someone to support me. I can't do this all on my own. My mind is like attacking every step that I take. So I need someone to call me out, to help me work on my mindset, and I can be that person for you. And the best part about this 6 month coaching program, it's called the CEO Coaching Experience, if you want to get all fancy. But we start from ground zero, and I start from where you're currently at, and I customize a game plan and a strategy that is unique to you. This isn't some like cookie cutter thing that I do with every single client. This will be customized to you. So I'm going to drop the link in the comments below so that you can go and apply. It's a short application. The deadline for applying is Sunday, October 4th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday, October 4th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's my little announcement. Be sure to apply. You have 9 days left. I am so friggin' stoked to choose the winner. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be life-changing, completely transformational. I'm ready for it. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful Friday tomorrow, a wonderful night tonight, a wonderful weekend. You all are super badass online CEOs, and I am blessed to have you in this group. Bye.